Yeah, now we're talking back to work. Back to work. What a fantastic day today. One of those days you just love being a trader, right? Didn't matter what you did today, whether you sold that beautiful bull trap off the range highs or you grabbed that incredible deep pullback. I warned you guys about that last night, that beautiful deep pullback into that bear trap this afternoon. Boy, it didn't matter which one of those trades you took. Hope everyone made some money today, but we got to get back to work because tomorrow, wait till you see the charts tonight. Tomorrow might be the best day of the week for us, and I have so much to share with you guys tonight. I'm going to go over my favorite trades in the video tonight because I want to make sure you guys have a game plan to make some money on Thursday. And before we jump in and get the party going tonight, I'm getting goosebumps, getting excited just thinking about it. Before we start though, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow night's video. And if you like these lessons, if you enjoy these videos, give me a thumbs up on the video tonight. Give me a shout out down in the comment section. Thank you so much for tuning in, supporting the channel, but enough of the intro, huh? Let's get ready for Thursday. I'm getting excited about Thursday, and you will see in a moment why tomorrow might be another fun day tomorrow morning in our trade room. Now, starting off first, as always, on the higher time frames. I get the 60-minute charts on the Nasdaq and the triple Qs. We got the Emini and the SPY. Remember, I like to start on the 60-minute time frames to plan our trades for the following day. And then later on in the video, we're going to drill down to some tick charts. Tick charts are best for entry timing. Much easier to time the entries off a tick chart. So let's start first on the bigger picture 60-minute, and we'll drill down and talk entry tactics as we go deeper into the lesson here tonight. What are the 60-minute charts telling us? We are very bullish, as you can see, overall. You don't need me to tell you that. Remember, we have this really big move up the last couple days. We're still waiting for that deep pullback, that two-legged pullback, and a retest of the high. And I'll tell you, when you guys take a look at the tick charts here in a moment, tomorrow might be that day when we get that nice, deep, two-legged pullback. I think the biggest clues tonight are on the tick charts. Before we drill down to those tick charts, though, and talk about entries for tomorrow, let's just make sure we check the calendar for tomorrow. There are two things you want to have on your radar tomorrow. Really, there's no major news tomorrow until we hear from Powell tomorrow afternoon. He is a keynote speaker at the IMF conference, I believe, somewhere in Europe tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern time. He speaks. So keep that on your radar. Whenever the head of the Fed speaks, the markets do tend to listen. The most important thing, though, for tomorrow, though, is tomorrow is likely the last full trading day of the week. We have Veterans Day on Saturday, the 11th. On Friday, they are observing Veterans Day. So schools are closed, banks are closed. I would imagine a lot of people are going to be out of the office on Friday. We're not expecting much volume on Friday. I will not be publishing my video newsletter tomorrow night either. I've got some very special veterans to spend time with this weekend as well. If I don't see you guys in the trade room tomorrow morning or Friday morning, a very happy Veterans Day to all the vets out there. So be aware of that for tomorrow. Again, no video tomorrow night, and just be careful if you guys are trading on Friday morning because, again, banks closed, schools closed. If there's a parade happening, right, that usually means the markets will be low volume on Friday morning. Now, let's get back to our charts, though. It's important to know when the news is or when the lack of news is, but the money is always made on the charts. Let's now go over my favorite trades here for tomorrow. I got the S&P and the Nasdaq. Why don't we start first here right now on the E-mini, S&P, and the SPY. Keep in mind both of these markets, right? The E-mini and the Nasdaq are very similar right now. They're very much interchangeable. Like I mentioned in the introduction, we are very bullish right now with a huge move higher. Everyone's waiting for that two-legged pullback and a retest of the high. And let's take a look at the tick charts, though, because the tick charts, I think, are really very interesting charts here tonight. And really, the tick charts are probably going to give us the roadmap to make some money for tomorrow. Now, if you're tuning in for the first time right now, this is a 7,000 tick chart, upper left-hand corner, and that is the 21 EMA. Nothing special, just a default 21 EMA indicator on that chart. Rotation is the most important factor. We talk a lot about range rotation, channel rotation in our free video classes. So if you recall from last night's video, we were bullish into a trading range. And we talked about how ranges love to rotate. We made that run up, that beautiful bull trap off the high, and that reversal all the way down. And we talked about this last night, how everybody wanted that deep, deep pullback. Bears got trapped in, and we now rotate back up again. But what do you see happened? We failed to finish off that rotation. We failed to take out those highs. We failed to complete what we call the pendulum swing. And I'll tell you right now, if the buyers can't get their act together, if they can't finish up this move and take that high out, there's kind of one thing on our radar right now. That strong move down becomes a big magnet, a big bullseye. And it seems like we're headed back down to retest that low. Now, there are a lot of ways I can short this on the way down to retest the low. You have to assume, with the big bull market right now, you have to assume there are more buyers waiting down here. So I love the idea of being a buyer down here. A couple different ways we can buy down there as well. So we have a lot to cover for this market rolling over for a reversal off the high. Before we dive into the move going lower, though, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the buyers are going to hold right here, and maybe we do end up going higher. So let's just talk about, I always try to play devil's advocate. I think I got a pretty good idea of where the market goes for tomorrow, but let's kind of play the opposite side of that and just make sure we're prepared for this, because there are just as many good trades off the highs here right now as well. So here's a couple of setups I'm looking for. And again, later on in the video, we'll talk about the move going down here. If we hold and we continue running higher here, remember, we have a ton of major resistance up overhead on the 60-minute. We talked about that a lot last night. If we can head up into this area now, this range acts like a magnet. Now, we're pretty bullish overall, so I'd like to short off the high, but I'd like to use one of my, what I call a two-try failure pattern. This will sound familiar if you're a student in our free video classes or our trade room, but I'd like to try to trap in some buyers up here and use their stops, right, to roll this thing over, right, back down into that range. It could be here, it could be here, the top of that channel, but I like the idea of that short off the high. But again, because we're going against all that bullish momentum, I'm going to use what's called a two-try failure. Now, just like we saw today, where it went up, the buyers tried and rolled over. And like I talked about last night, when we roll off the high, the pattern you want to look for is that bull trap, right? That bull trap was a beautiful short as we rotated off the high. We talked about that last night on the video. That's exactly what we're looking for here. If we do end up rolling lower, I'm looking for that lower low in price and that bull trap above the high. So again, I'd like to think we're going to roll over here, and I got plenty of trades to talk about later on in the video. But if we do end up popping higher here, we get up into resistance with range magnets underneath us. I would trap those buyers in, 1, 2, use those stops to fuel the move back over, and then grab that lower low in price and that beautiful potential bull trap as it rotates back down to take out those lows. Now, there's always a couple of variations of this. For example, sometimes we'll punch up and we'll get whacked back down with what I call a V top. It will kind of grind down like that. These are very simple. You mark off that low, you mark off that high, right? You go look left, you find some prior swings, and you grab that bull trap off the high, right? Just like that, right? If we end up rolling lower and grinding down, we draw off the lows, up around the highs, right? And we look for the bull trap off of that high. So again, we'd like to go up and trap buyers in, but if all we get is that V top and it starts grinding down, that could be a bull trap like I'm showing you right here. It could be a buyer failure above the moving average, right? You guys are learning those in our free video course, which reminds me, I know that most of you guys watching right now, you guys know traps, you know failures, you know when to use a 2-try failure versus a 1-try failure. But if you're watching for the first time right now, this might be brand new to you. It might be all new terminology. Not to worry though, I teach all of these setups along with hundreds of examples of these patterns in our free video classes. What I'll do is I'll put a link up there for you in the upper right-hand corner. Grab that link that popped up. Take that free trading course, because the strategy you'll learn in that video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our morning trade room to know exactly where the best winning trades are going to be each day. And then once we know where they're going to be, then I'll teach you my 4 favorite entry patterns to help time the perfect entry and help you start making money on your own. The markets are way too good right now not to be making good, consistent money. So if you're missing too many good trades, if you're taking too many losses, hit that link that popped up there. Take that free course. You're going to love the roadmap and the setups. You're learning that. And also, by the way, too, if you can't get that link that popped up there, I'll put all of the important links in the description of the video. I'll put the free class links, our trade room membership links, and also too, I post a lot on Twitter during the week each week. So I'll put my Twitter feed down there as well. So grab the links in the description there and definitely take that free course. It's perfect for someone trying to make the jump into full-time trading. Now, one more variation here. I want to get over to the Nasdaq here as soon as possible and talk about that move going lower. But if we were to run up, and let's say we pull back and retest the high, these are just as good. In fact, these are even better shorts. I want to look for that double top reversal. Once they go back and retest the high, right? Go back and retest the high, then same thing. 1, 2, use that 2 try failure. And then as we roll lower, remember, anytime we roll lower off the high of a range, there's one pattern we always look for, that lower low in price, and of course, that bull trap off the high. You can see an example right here, right? We go up, right? We retest 1, 2, and then as we run lower, it's that trap off the high here. So again, I'm looking for it to go up, trap the buyers in, and short back down. Again, it may be a V-top and grind back down. That's fine by me as well. We'll go out and grab that short off that first test, off the high of that channel. And again, I'm keeping it simple right now. You'll see a lot more examples of these actual entry tactics in that free video series mentioned earlier. And if we do end up popping up and the buyers can manage to hold that pullback and retest, that's even better, right? Because now anybody who bought that pullback, they'll be taking their profit off at that high. And once those rookies come in and they start swinging at this once, twice, right? Then we basically used our stops to fuel that run back down again. Range is a magnet, resistance levels overhead. And again, if it drops like that, think about that. Think about that bull trap on the way going lower. And if you roll off the high, we know where the market wants to go, right? It wants to take out that big low, because anytime we see a strong move like that, it's basically a bullseye, just trying to take that low out on the rotation on the opposite side. Remember how ranges work. We talk about this a lot in the free video course. We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down, we go up. So how do we make money on this now as it rolls lower? You could definitely sell it. You could definitely sell it with the right setup. And we can obviously, we can look for more buyers down here, right? Try to buy this thing off this low as well. This is where we start getting some exciting stuff coming here for tomorrow. Let's go look at the NASDAQ here now. And the NASDAQ, of course, is very similar to the S&P 500. We have a very, very big move going higher. Everyone's been waiting on that 2-legged pullback and that retest of the high. And when you see the charts tonight, you'll see why I say tomorrow may be the day we get that 2-legged pullback. The NASDAQ is very, very convincing right now. Now, a little bit different, but I think you'll see why I believe this market will probably want to go lower here, at least in the short term. We had that just gorgeous. If you watched last night's video, this is that trading range, right? We had that beautiful crown reversal off the high. I know a bunch of you guys made bank on that one this morning, so well done on that. We finish off that rotation. Right now, we end up rolling lower into a trading range. That range now is the rotation target. We run lower, just a gorgeous, we talked about this last night, right? Just a beautiful bears coming in, chasing after it, squeezing those stops. So now, if we understand those ranges, if we understand how ranges work, the amount below the range, the amount above the range, we should be looking to, it's an overall bull market. This is not a bear market overall. There should be no problem for these buyers to rotate all the way up and at least take out that high right there. But you can see what's happening. They're failing that rotation. There's this channel coming down off the lows, pinned up around the highs. This thing just looks heavy just looking at it right now. It just looks heavy just looking at it right now. So We talked about on the S&P, had to go up, right? 1, 2, back down again. I still love that setup or that game plan I mentioned on the S&P. If we roll over, where does the market want to go? It wants to punch out. Remember, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we know that's the objective, right? It's an easy sore thumb. It wants to be taken out. I call these open loops in our trade room. It's kind of unfinished business, if you will. So we're trying to run this thing back down. What do you think? Based on what we said already tonight, what do you think is the best way to short this as we go lower? Remember, this one type of entry pattern we look for during rotation, it's going to be a bull trap. It's always going to be a bull trap. As we go up and fail off the high, we start rolling lower, and what do? We start looking for those lower lows in price and those bull traps off the high. This is the exact same scenario. As we roll lower, look for those lower lows in price. Get above that high. These are very, very simple patterns. That's the way you want to do this on the way down to retesting that low. Now, there's a lot of ways now we can buy down here and sell it. So, for example, as we end up back around that low, I have to assume there's a lot of buyers down there because, again, we're an overall bull market. So you have to assume there's going to be buyers down there. What's my problem, though? My problem is all of that momentum. Right? This is a really strong bear move at this point. This is where a crown reversal is going to be your best bet. Now, crown reversals are just like this two-try failure right here, where you pull back, the bears once, the bears twice, and again, run stops. Right? I'm not a big fan of picking bottoms or picking tops and bottoms. You guys, if you watch these videos, you know I'm not very good at picking tops and bottoms, but I love to trap the bears in and use their stops to fuel that reversal. Over here, though, this is going to be a very big failed rotation. It will feel very bearish. So in this case, I'm going to use the two tries, but I'm going to make sure I get that bear trap. This will be the safest way to buy that bounce off of that low. All this is a higher high in price, bears try once, bears try twice, and a bear trap. Now, why would I want to see a bear trap on this? Well, because as you guys know, if you're with me in the trade room, we oftentimes see ranges that will break out pullback, right, and roll over. All right. So I want to make sure I'm getting in as low as possible here. I don't want to be trading that same way right here because it could easily pop up here, right? Pop up, and we start running into the underbelly of that range, and it rolls right over on us. I like the bear trap on it. I call these crown reversals. I like the bear trap, buying as low as we can, but I would love to get something like this where we get that crown reversal, that bear trap there, right? And then once we start running up, now remember, this will feel very, very bearish, lots of momentum. I expect more buyers down here, but I don't expect a lot of buyers up here, right? Not buying high. I would love to trap some rookies in though, and kind of look at this almost like, well, it'll be a two-try failure. All right. Again, one try for the buyers, two try for the buyers. You can see I love to run stops. I think that's the easiest way to make consistent money rather than simply trying to, short the underbelly like that. Right. Who knows? It may keep going. I don't want to play that game. I'm not trying to pick the top on that. I'd rather wait for the buyers to try a couple times and then sell in their stops for that roll lower. This will be nothing more than a breakout pullback. Right? That's all that'll be. Right? Clean it off a little bit. There's my range. We roll lower, take out that low. We trap the rookie bears in because nobody should be selling down here, right? You know better than that. But hopefully a lot of traders are not watching my videos. They try a couple times down here. Horrible place to be selling, right? We know that. We don't sell low. We sell high. We squeeze those bears. Right? And now all that bear momentum coming down, the underbelly of that range will oftentimes, because of that strong move down, is going to hold, roll over, and take out that low. I will certainly be looking for a profit target at the underbelly of that range. I will also leave a runner up around these highs as well, just in case, right? Just in case it does keep going. But I'd like to go in, and once we hit the underbelly of that trading range, and again, it could be really anywhere in that area, really. But once we hit the underbelly, now let's see if those buyers come in. If we start seeing buyers try a couple times here, we get all that momentum coming off that off that high. The bears want to take out that low. Let's use one of those failure patterns and right back down to retest the low, right? I love that sequence, right? Buying low with a bear trap, and then using the underbelly of that trading range with all of that momentum for basically, it's basically a breakout pullback, right, off the underbelly of that trading range. Now, once we here's where it kind of gets fun, right? This is where it kind of gets fun. Trading gets a lot of fun once you kind of get good at this stuff. But once we retest that low now, think about who's down there. Who do you think is down there? Well, first of all the professionals who sold that breakout pullback, where do you think they're taking their profit? Yeah, I would imagine a bulk of that profit comes off at that low. Okay, do you think that buyers might re-enter the market down here? Because again, we're a little bit bullish on that 60-minute chart. Absolutely. You have to think there's buyers waiting at all of these lows. Look what happened today, right? That huge V bottom, right? That doesn't happen with a lot of buyers waiting. So we assume underneath these lows are going to be a lot of buyers automatically because of the long-term bull trend. We also assume anyone who sold short is taking their profit. This is one of those scenarios, we talk about these a lot in these videos, where everyone is buying, right? Everyone is buying. And then we use another one of those failure patterns. You guys are probably sick and tired of hearing this two-try rule, but I'll tell you right now, once you learn to rope in the wrong side of the market, once you learn the power of the two-try rule, and I go over a lot more of this in the video course, obviously, the free video classes. Once we rope in those bears here, now we've got them right where we want them. I don't need a crown reversal anymore, okay? I need the crown reversal here because it's so strong, right? And the potential for it rolling over. Makes sense? Momentum's too strong. At this point, though, I don't need that crown reversal. It'd be great if I got it. I wouldn't say no to it, right? It'd be great, but it's not required. All we need right now is rope the rookies in. Those rookies, when they get stopped out there, right, their stops are the fuel we use to go where? To go back up and take out that high, right? That becomes our next objective, going higher. This oftentimes becomes one big trading range, right? So I just love that sequence right there. Now, let's build on that sequence because, again, we have this huge move here. We could easily end up much lower tomorrow. It could easily happen, right? No one really knows when the rug gets pulled here. But let's say, though, that we do get that run going lower. And let's say now we start to grind going down, okay? These are very, very important. We call these the pop and grind. If there's one thing you better learn from tonight's video, it's this pattern right here. Whenever we see it pop and grind down, all we do is we draw that trend line off those lows, up around that high. I always look left, try to find some swings and hit the top of that channel. And you can see, right? I'm not making this stuff up. You'll see this all over the place on pretty much every chart, every time frame. So I would like to buy off that low at that crown reversal. But just be prepared. This thing may roll over and begin to grind going lower. The buyers may go, I'm out of here, and it may grind down. If that's the case, it's a very simple adjustment. We draw that trend line off the lows. We pin it up around the high. I had originally talked about that breakout pullback, right, off the underbelly of that range. And this is where we could probably combine those two together, right around there. All right. Just one thing about these, though, if it begins to grind down like this, if it grinds down like this, just be careful trying to pick that bottom. Okay, that grinding motion on the chart usually means we're going to go up and roll right over off top of that channel. So when I see a grind movement like that, I generally don't try to pick that bottom. I'll simply draw that channel, I'll look left, find some prior swings, and again, it could be a bull trap, right? Like I'm showing right here. We could get above the 21 EMA, you know what I mean? It may pop up into the underbelly of that range. That becomes now buyers come in, they try to buy the pullback. Here's that classic failure into pullback combination, right? And we know where the market wants to go, right? It wants to take out that low. And then once we retest the low, now we can go out and look for those 1, 2, right? That double bottom reversal back up. So just a slight variation of what we talked about a moment ago, right? Again, if it pops and grinds down, just be very careful trying to pick those bottoms. I would much rather wait for that pullback, short that first test off the high of that channel. And then once we retest the lows, Again, I would imagine a lot of profit taking will be taken down there. I would also imagine too a lot of sellers chasing after it could be easy cannon fodder, right? Easy squeeze, right? Back up to take out some of these big highs here. All right, guys. Boy, I love the way these charts look for tomorrow. We don't always have them teed up this nicely, but again, now we're ready for whatever happens. We had a game plan if we go higher, right? A game plan if we go lower. We might get all of them. We might get one or two of them, but at least now that we have a game plan, so we're ready mentally and technically for tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow, the best way to do this is to come out and learn and trade along with us. We open up our trade room every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. I can't think of any better way to learn to trade than doing it with me every morning in the morning trade room. I'll put all the information you guys need in the description. I'll put the free class links for sure, the trade room membership links. I'll put the Twitter feed down there. I would definitely recommend, if you're here watching for the first time right now, I covered a lot of new topics, I would assume here. Start with the free video course, learn the setups, learn the techniques, get a good foundation under your feet, and that will get you primed and ready. And I'll hopefully see you sometime soon trading with me in the morning trade room with all the advanced members. If you have any questions about brokers or data feeds, or if you have trouble getting access to our free video classes, I'm always here to help. So don't be afraid to email or call the office or use live chat. If you guys need help, I'm always here. So definitely don't be a stranger. You never bother me with questions about the strategy or the resources or the tools, right? All right, guys, so keep in touch on that. Fantastic job today. I love seeing you guys make money in this stuff. So well done on that. Let's stay focused. Get back in the action tomorrow morning. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow morning in the morning trade room. If not, again, there's no video tomorrow night. A very happy Veterans Day to all the vets out there. And we'll come back here and do it again on Monday evening next week. In the meantime, be well, be nice to each other, and you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.